Oh, let me perform for you, like a wisp just passing through, 'cause I won't get this moment back, and neither will you. We can spend this time together, then just nod and walk away. All you've got to do is listen. I've got to work out what to say. Oh, let me perform for you. I'll go clickety-click with my rhyming sticks, make poetry about as hip as a Morris dancer's skip. And sometimes I'll rhyme all out of time, making words flip and your silences skip. And sometimes I won't. Oh, let me perform for you, just a single flickering frame on the film reel of your mind. And we might meet again for coffee and a chat, but you and I both know it won't be the same as that night I stood in front of you, so vulnerable, bearing all, and how you wanted to kick me like some metaphysical football, or maybe buy me beer and throw me £5 notes and tell me that you love what I do with those Shakespearean quotes. Oh, let me perform for you, for better or for worse. You know that every word that's uttered, they said, echoes somewhere else. So maybe we can just agree a contract for tonight. You'll let me perform for you, and we'll both hope that it's all right. There is a theory in physics called string theory. Here is the Gordon-Bus definition of string theory: that all atoms are somehow held together by resonating strings. If that is wrong, and you know the difference, then for the sake of this poem I'm right. And if you want to correct my science, remember, if poets are freaks, then scientists are geeks. So the hills could be alive with the sound of music, taut strings tuned to different keys. That tension you feel when you walk in a room could be an overtuned top E that's been overused. Maybe we walk through swaying fields of unseen strings. We touch resonating chords by grabbing air at one time. That thing you felt for someone that started in the key of C but ended in a diminished third. That fear that grabbed you when there was no one around could have been a cosmic bass player doing that Jaws theme gag they do. The sun setting could be harmonies on a theme, feeling chilled in a place, a jazz bass run, anger, a thumping beat dropping on your feet, and love, well, all of the above. Or it could just be a theory like evolution, devolution, revolution, European constitution, black holes, big bangs, inherited royalty, guide dogs at animal cruelty. A theory like England is a great sporting nation, darts is an Olympic sport, life should be easy and come from a box. It's all just theories we can get hung up and swing from and need cutting down from to walk away. So tonight, as you lie on the edge of sleep, listening for the song that you are making, when you've heard it, sing it. All God's children, we've cast a shadow by electric light, throwing shadow puppet theatres whose curtains only close at night, giving songs to our characters, staying in tune with ourselves, the me, my, I. Just two-dimensional props and scenes of paper fires and cardboard streams. To open up the golden sentence like the artist's golden third, to give our characters things to say never before heard. And as the curtain opens, the cockerel spur that hooks the morning with its spread out wings and angry calling, 'cause all God's children, we've cast a shadow by electric light, throwing shadow puppet theatres where the angels dance and fight, and Jesus in the candlelight offers flames of sun when all is left unsaid and all is left undone. And we have set the scenes and stages, we are waiting for our call, some are waiting for a prompting that has never come at all. And all God's children, we cast a shadow electric light, sat in shadow puppet theatres with the plot just out of sight, and songs of lamentation, apocalyptic verse, never should be practised, never be rehearsed. And if you can reach the script in me, pull out the lines, narrate for me, then prompt me, direct me. As all God's children cast a shadow by electric light, we're throwing shadow puppet theatres whose curtains only close at night, with two-dimensional props and scenes of paper fires and cardboard streams. Can I talk to you? Roll up for bare-knuckle male masculinity, spit sawdust sensitivity, 'cause the five-knuckle discourse is the only solution to childhood, teenage, adult conflict resolution. At school, 7 days without a fight made Mad Dog weak. We really had a mad dog. Sheepskin, stay press, Fred Perry and loafers, ditting discos, the smell of tarmac and new trainers, standing in a circle like a ring, spit sawdust, male sensitivity and masculinity. Wish I could say I won my fights. Defended myself in crowds through blinding syntax and metaphor, but I didn't. Unlike everyone else, I just jumped into the big heap. And roll up for bare-knuckle male masculinity, spit sawdust vulnerability, 'cause five-knuckle discourse is the only solution to childhood, teenage, adult conflict resolution. Guys like us, we walked out from the shallow end of the gene pool. We did that walk that says our muscles are too big for us to talk, as if articulating and communicating makes the male Y chromosome limp. A ring in the car park, the playground for the show. Let's get it sorted and wash out the grit at home. Push down those words, push down those ideas. Use that energy to fight it out and hide fears, 'cause it's better to take a beating, boy, than be weak in another man's mind. And roll up for bare-knuckle male masculinity, spit sawdust vulnerability, 'cause five-knuckle discourse is the only solution to childhood, teenage, adult conflict resolution. Do you ever have days when you feel vulnerable? Like cleverly folded paper of moving arms and legs, but paper just the same. From coffee shop basements out to waking streets. A cat has dropped a rat in the night, and it's cold in the city. Not impersonal, but intimate. Ice dust that pushes into a tissue paper folded heart, damp chilling the purple blood, staining the flaps to darken the edges of the ventricles. And in the grocers where the young me worked, we would chill Dutch tulips overnight to keep their edges sharp, their chambers rounded. The city coughs and spits. The skies roll over to wake up. Bent workers walk, shuffle, wait by still unopened shops, where display lights throw sheer fabric shelters, translucent electric blue light, thrown temple on the pavement. The refugees near the Calais coast built a small temporary city, in wood, card and paper, blue plastic sheeting around a timber frame. Here now unguarded, wet cones of paper eyes have brimmed, tip-spinning the pigments of the years. Caught on the iris rim now washing out, a child's powder paint that spreads in stains, spoiling in confusion down the cheeks. There is comfort in the perpendicular, the irregular order of the side streets and roads. To the right is now and to the left is wide, sloping down to basements underneath. Impersonal, the hurrying people hide from glances and from searching eyes, solely intentional for the next place to be, covered gently in the ashes of stars. And bent in the window the widow knits in the wool-shop alcove near the market street. On paper days, to not be overwhelmed by repetition, try making a day a space of 6 sides to be in, the net of a cube pre-creased and folded, one wall of 4 hours, the next wall of 4 hours, the next wall of 4 hours, and on to complete. You do the maths. We're paper people in a paper world. And I once saw in the centre of a boxing ring, of equal sides, a square, not a cube, a light man sat, a slight man so small. A folded man in the centre of the ring, who just a few short beats before had been quick and strong and short, with kicks and punches, force and focus. Now he sat, strangely vulnerable, as if a tiger had moved from in front of him and left, nothing now to fight. Between straight valley walls of craggy limestone buildings weathered in the washing wind, here the mind sits light amongst the paper skull. Even where the days have buckled it, and feet leave little record on the hardness of the street. But when I lay me down to sleep, between the thicker card of bed sheets, the creases of my legs and feet are smoothed under the weight. And do you ever have days when you feel vulnerable, like cleverly folded paper of moving arms and legs, but paper just the same? We have walked so far south of Eden, out over cracked ground, step by step over the tumbleweed tundra, over plains and deserts, through forest and wilderness, south of Eden, over and away from what was to make something of what is. Maybe it was then, at the source, where the water came tight like lazurite from the centre of the earth to spill. Maybe then we were a we. And step by step became horizon to horizon, walking, always walking. The few became a many, the many a multitude, and we spread out into groups and cliques and tribes and subsets. When we learnt language, we made ways into others' minds and hearts. We could make fort out of the droughts and the streams inside of us, the stick strokes in the mud we made, the muscle-manipulated expression of air we shared. Maybe early then there was a we. Climbed up into the mountains for a day, a week, a generation. Some stayed there, made a home. Others flowed down its shale and banks to walk on. Maybe all that kicked up dust and earth that came into our mouths made our hearts a little more clay. In the sun too long made some of our hearts hard as we spread out and splayed out, a heron wing of people throwing a shadow across the empty, unknown places. Our feet came to the silt of streams and it felt good. Black soil rich to nurture and grow, we decided to stop and wait and plant and wait and till and wait and reap and wait. Wait for the sun in the sky to align to that one hill again. We learnt to plot the seasons by the fire and the rock in the sky, that bundle of stars that hangs like fruit ready to fall, is in its place again above the trees, as accurate as lines on a clock face. Not long out of Eden, we made bricks from clay and towns from bricks and cities from towns. Some seeing what they wanted, they took it. They made the growing, settled places theirs by force or fortune, took the flocks and changed the markers. And we found gold from the rock and it became more precious than words. But gold has never made anyone as rich or poor as the words said to them. Maybe early then there was a we. All the heart-blood intensity of the dyes from roots and dyes from seashells. Let the walls show the pictures inside of us, stains on our hands where lines became things we recognised together. Maybe there never was a we. A we making history. The day of small things repeating itself. The sun shines on the great and small alike, but rain only stays falling on the poor. We never know when we are making history. Every place was legendary. Every place is legendary. I guess what I'm trying to say is every place is history. Everybody's story legend. Every journey up behind you until now. They walked, they fell. They walked, they fell. We walk, we fall. All is worthy of recording, remembering. The writing on us in scores and lines, we are unrolling epitaphs, and if we are ever blessed above the rest, we are read clearly. We may not walk close to others. It's harsh to walk alone. I've taught a child whose mother had died. I've taught a child whose father had died. They had walked with someone on each side, as if they had rolled out of the overlapping shadows, lay in their shade. Now the shade was gone. But they keep walking, while others hurry and fuss and try to provide the shade that was lost. It's better not to walk alone. The tented presence of the now, the thickness of a moment pitched and billowing. Give me your shelter while you're walking, and let me give you mine. So far south of Eden, we'll make a home as best we can.